Hi and welcome to this week's video. Hopefully we get a couple of fuselage sides looking like fuselage sides. We'll find out. Come on then. Right, so block work. Small block in there and at the top on this station here, so that's the tail post there and this station here. Don't want to go too big on the block at the bottom because there's got to be gussets going in. Not putting blocks in here, gussets going over it, and this is all in compression holding things together, so that's not bad. There will be a block going in on this side over here once I've got a gusset going across to the cross member, so that just have a block go in. No, the gusset will be on this side, but nothing on that side. And then once I've got the gusset going in here to the vertical block, so it's going to be mounted something like that. There'll be a gusset going across there, then there'll be a triangular block go in here just to stop this load here from being able to try to shift across. Mirror image of it down here. That goes across to that station as well, same. This station's slightly different. It's a high stress area, so it'll have a block. There'll be a small block going across to this member here, which can't be put in until the lower rear spar carry through is put in, and there'll be a block going across there because we don't want any of that to shift in any format, and that'll be gusseted appropriately. The forward block will be the last one fitted because there'll be a gusset going across to the cross member. Down here that'll be worked through again. I've drilled a small hole in the seatbelt mounting block, so both of those are the same. Coming around to this side, there will be a small block, couple of blocks just in there. This is a high stress area with the undercarriage. It doesn't show anything about gussets on the plan, but there will be, for me, it's going to be a gusset going right the way across, down here, across the blocks and onto here, right the way around, and then this section here will be cut out for the mounting bolts for that cross member piece. We've got the blocks in the front there. Of course, blocks in here and here, and you'll see this has got quite a complex little block area. This is the top. This particular upright here is for the forward spar carry through. Puts its load into the fuselage because it mounts down here. There's the forward spar carry through. So it's coming up to here, so we want everything to be well braced there. So blocking to spread the load from here, so it's not putting a point load on. That's the reason for the blocking here and on the rear spar, is so the vertical force going on here is spread out and not localized on the longeron. You'll notice on this particular side I've got a couple of little small blocks, and I've got a piece of extra wood going in across here. That's an algae mod. The reason for putting that in is into the top of this longeron there will be holes being put into it for the hinge for the entry door, so only this side will have that, and I'll have a ply gusset going from here all the way along there to there. Now there are some other mods I'm doing to the seat area. I'll talk to you about those when it gets to it. So, but here we go with all the general blocking. I've made up some duplicates. Some of them are, got to be sent to be an exact fit, so they'll need to be played around with a little bit. But generally, we're ready now to start gluing. So I will be gluing this front area back to station 2 first, and then I'll work my way back with the cross member. There'll be another little gusset going across there just to help reinforce everything in that format. This is there won't be a little gusset going across there because the whole seat back will be going across there acting as a gusset, because I'm putting my seat back on the rear face of this, although the plan shows it on the front. I'm doing it on the rear face. It gives me an extra 3/4 of an inch to compensate for the fact I've taken a bit off the front, and it makes, to my mind, this area a little bit stronger and easier to work. So just a little bit of detail. If you look at the grain direction on my blocks, it is going across to the one component to the other directly, so the force can be transferred. And what I'm about to do is I've marked on the side of this Douglas fir, so that what I can do now is I'm going to get a piece of coarse sandpaper, and I'm going to go across the grain here just to clean up, put a key on it. That's one of the other things you've got to do with Douglas fir. Got to make sure that the glue areas are keyed. Okay, I'm now going to glue this little bit up. Catch you later. So here we are, all bonded and clamped to station 2. So here we are from station 2 here through station 3 and 4. There's my extra reinforcing bit just here for the hinge bit to allow for that, to add that bit of beef. All down here is done, seat belt mounts and bits. Well, there is the first side, just taken out of the jig for the moment. So just a little pointer before I tidy things up and wipe things down, but I just remembered as I bonded this, this side, the port side of the aircraft, because I've got the left thrust being put in, the firewall upright here has been shimmed back here by 0.15 of an inch, so just over 1/8 of an inch, been pushed back, and that will give me the 1/2 degree left side thrust on the engine. As I mentioned before, this is for me, so looking at some write-ups and bits and pieces, that seems to be about right from what some people have said, so we'll find out. Okay, while the other bits are doing their thing, what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to get these firewall gussets in, which are made out of 1/8 ply. So just drawing onto the wood where they're actually going to fit, so I can put the glue in the right place on them, and we'll go around the underside there and around the underside. Oops, there. So we've got marks where the glue area is on here, marks where these are going to cover, and now I'm using 80 grit. It's really important with Douglas fir that you do a bit of a key, so go across the grain a little bit. Both sides here, going across the grain of the Douglas and the other. That gets that cleaned. Stainless steel wire brush. Just give that a little bit of a clean off. Now where are marks underneath on the ply, get rid of any loose stuff with the wire brush, and now we're ready to bond this together. So just let me mix up some resin. Okay, so just going to apply resin to the areas where this is going to be bonded. I'm just going to put quite a chunk on to start off with. And then I effectively, on the plywood, I scrape most of it off. I'm only after a priming coat. Make sure it's actually into the surface of the wood, so it's still got a shine on it. It's still got enough there. You could almost do the joint with what we've got there, but do the same with this one. And the reason I'm putting it onto the plywood first is plywood's the hardest thing to get it to soak into. Even though we sanded the surface, which helps to get rid of any, I've already before I sanded it, alcohol wiped it, so there should be no release agent, but we sanded it to try and get rid of any release agent that might be on the surface. Here I am, taking off as much really as I can. We're ready to go there. Right, now into the wood. Now if I was using West systems, I would use just raw resin and then wipe most of it off, and then use a resin with a thickening agent added, because it's so runny, the West systems. But with this, you don't need to worry about all that faff and bother. I just want to make sure I get a nice even coat. Stick it on, then I'll go back and have a look at the other bits in a minute. So there we go. Nice bit. I'll just make sure we've got a nice even layer. I want enough to squeeze out, but I don't want loads and loads to squeeze out. I don't want the load to run off down the sides. So I'll take any excess, which I consider to be excessive, off. That should be okay. I'll lay that into place. And then put a weight on it, and so we'll carry on from there. Well, we have the second fuselage side all laid out and curing, and the first side now has got gussets on. A little bit of a modification. I've gusseted this whole area here because the main spar carry through sits here, so I wanted to beef this area up a little bit with these sort of side rail sections here, which will look like they should be the seat base, but they're not. The seats mounted further in, and on this side I've done the same here. I've gusseted all the way along the top here, because if you remember, I put in that extra piece just here to increase the thickness, so that I've got when I drill in and put the little thread inserts in for the screws, I'm going to lose a bit of strength in that top longeron, so I'm increasing it by having that additional strip in and this ply gusseting going along the side here. So there's my sort of modification bits. I've trimmed the ends off of the longeron so that they're now flush with the gussets at the front end here for the engine mounts, and I haven't fitted the gussets here because I'm looking at actually thinning this section down to the same width as the fin post, so the plywood that goes on the side of the fuselage can go back, actually come back and attach to that fin post to make that section just a little bit stronger and a little bit smoother going back over there. So that's my intention. I think when I do that, I'm going to be thinning out the wood here enough that these, if I put gussets on these, that the gussets would be disappearing. They would have to be shaved away. So I've got a feeling that they will not necessarily be needed. I'll have a little look when we get there. And then of course there's going to be blocks put in here and here, taper blocks to mount the tail wheel and tailplane onto. So that'll be something else. So that's it for this week. One fuselage side pretty much ready to be jigged up. The other one just requires gusseting once the resin is fully cured. That's got to happen yet. One or two little mods, as you've seen, carried out. Next week, well, I'm going to be gusseting the other side up. I'm not quite sure, well, I am quite sure where I want to go to next, but it all depends on whether I get the pieces to do what I want to do next. But we won't be quite putting the two fuselage sides together. Not just yet anyway, so no sitting in it making airplane noises for a few more weeks yet. Catch you later, look after yourselves, bye now.
Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please hit the thumbs up. You can subscribe or even hit the little bell notification for future videos. Any comments would be appreciated and I'll try to get back to you as soon as I can. Remember, go fly and feel the sky.